Hey guys, hope you guys are doing really well, no matter where you are, wherever you are in any part of the world. I'm hoping you have a blessed day. And today I want to talk about my collection in the mid 2025. Looking back at our watch collection journey of the last on the records of our channel that has been sort of documented and shared. Really enjoying the process. But I've been in this game of the Seiko world predominantly. As you guys know, I'm a massive fan of the brand. I've been buying Seikos. Of course, you can say that I've been selling Seikos for the last 2-3 years in my journey. There have been a lot of watches that I have had in the journey that is no longer on the table here. But at the same time, I think over the last 3-4 years, I've accumulated a few ideas that hopefully, as you guys know, I love people that is sort of just come into the hobby, and especially spending their hard-earned money, in the first couple years, and they really try to maintain that passion. They want to sustain that passionate growth, finding out what they like and sort of what kind of budget that works for them. They have a lot of questions, right? They sort of, they want to ensure what they want to buy brand new, having the warranty, or sort of going through a very volatile secondary market, buying, a good quality secondary used market from someone that is reliable without getting scammed. There's a lot of things that have been happened, and I do want to cover a few topics here, and I do hope my message and my sort of recapture of my collection 2025 will help those young comers one way or another. So thank you so much for being with me for so long in our community. We have not hit our target, but we have grown the community really well to 2,000, I think 4 or 3 subscribers as of now on the 7th of June 2025. And potentially, in terms of my perspective, that is a great responsibility, because my channel tells me I get to speak to each one of you as my friend, as someone that I get encountered in real life, talking about the hobby that we love, and I certainly want to add a 1 or 2 value to your journey. Okay, so this is everything that you see, of course, plus the legend, the SBDX 017, the last generation of the true marine master that Seiko has produced. And of course, we're going to talk about each one of them briefly, and any questions that you potentially will have, please leave them on the section of the comments down below, and we will join the discussion as well. Now, before I go into and dive into each particular watch, I do want to say, when I talk about those watches, as you guys know, they've been with me on the channel for a while. There are plenty of YouTube, watch channels talk about watches as products in terms of its design, the specs of it, and then they sort of talk about the price in relation to those things, and try to come to the conclusion to whether, as a consumer, we should buy it or not. Of course, that can apply to some of the entry-level Seikos, the mid-tiers, and of course, even into the world of Swiss watches. And I think those reviews are fantastic. But for me, what I've learned is there's a difference between, when you want to buy a product, when you want to buy a watch, there's a difference between watching someone else's view on the watch as a product to the true ownership of owning the watch, living with the watch. More importantly, how does the watch make you feel? How does the watch really fit into your lifestyle and what you really need on day-to-day basis? I think those things are just important as when it comes to the spec or the material of the watches, because you don't live on the spec of the watches. Watches on your wrist, they forms as a part of your, accessories, right? And you really get to enjoy them on a deeper level rather than just using them as a tool. So when I talk about my watches as of now, I want to inject that sense of really in life experiences to my discussion, and hopefully that's gonna give you something else to think about before you pulling the trigger of buying those specific watches. Now let's dive in, and I want to talk about my watches in terms of two topics. Number one is what I've learned is, as you guys know, on the peak of my collection in terms of quantity, I actually fulfilled the 24 Torbury, which is an excellent watch storage solution. I filled the whole box of 24 watches. I actually had I think one or two on the sides. And judging from the decline of the quantity from 20, you can call that a 25 watch collection down to about 7. That is about 70% in decline of the watches that I have. But conversely, can I say that I sort of lost the 70% of the enjoyment out of my watches? I would say no. I was actually I've learned a few things, and I'm actually feeling more pleased, feeling more blessed. Of course, my wallet felt much better as well by having a less quantity in terms of my collection, so I can truly enjoy them a bit more. So I really found out what works for me. And the second thing I want to break it down is, as you can see, I've got a few watches on the bracelet, which is the SBDX 017, the Seamaster, the full metal, I call this the full metal tuner, and the MM200. Those are on the bracelets, and I've got a few watches that they on the straps, and really colorful strap. Of course, I've been very blessed to work with a few brands, and they've been fantastic with me, specifically the strap X Pro. Gavin and his team is doing fantastic engineering work for the community of Seiko, and they are truly underrated in my opinion. Now, the reason why I chose a few watches on the bracelet, a few watches on the strap, because I realized in order to have a watch collection, I need to make, I don't have to make myself working for the collection. I need to make sure my collection that works for me. And when I look at my own lifestyle, I get to see customers. I get to see, I'm in the service industry. I get to wear different clothing that are going to look a bit more formally. At the same time, I want to maintain my love for the divers and sports watches. But at the same time, I get to wear watches on my casual days. In the summer, whether that's going for a sports event, you're wearing something casual, you don't want to have a whole lot of weight on the watches, but you want to maintain that intrinsic design language by the brand of Seiko's. And so I have those few watches on the strap that I categorize them as fun watches. Intrinsically, so much fun, capturing the intrinsic DNA of what Seiko is and deliver them in so much fun. I have completely different experiences when I have a SBDX 017 on the wrist, or having these fantastic anthracite sumo on the wrist. Different days for different watches, and I think to categorize those watches in sort of a daily and more sports, as more not saying formally dressed, none of them are dress watches, but having them on a separate days and separate sort of utility really works for me, and I get to really have a clear vision about which watches should I consider to pick up depending on what's going on the day. Okay, now we're gonna start it off with fun, with pure fun, and that is those 3 watches on the straps. The first one I'll talk about is actually let me strap it off. Being about 9 minutes and 12 seconds into the video, I'm trying to finish everything by the minute 20. But we'll see how we go. Okay, we'll see how we go. I'm gonna leave the Marine Master on the side, just in case you guys are asking, Felix, where did you hide that watch? It's not going anywhere. Now, the first watch we'll talk about is a fun watch. That's the yellow. Let me get the focus right here, guys. That is the Yellow Monster. Now, there's a bit of story about this watch. I was going to actually sell it, but then I realized under the topic of fun, color is everything. Okay, and when I ask myself, if I sell the watch, if I sell this yellow monster in one day, right, in the summertime, I look good in yellow, right? I then go back on the marketplace, wanted to buy a proper, a reputable brand, divers ISO certified. I'm gonna dive into the sea, have a bit of doing a bit of sports activities on the water. What potential target I'm gonna buy a yellow watch, and pretty soon I came to the conclusion that I wouldn't be able to find another one, right? So that's my logics there, and especially with the support of Gavin's from StrapX Pro for those straps. He sent me a bunch of different colors. The OEM Seiko was in green, olive green, or OD green, so I kept his strap on the green as well, with a seamless transition between the body of the watch and the straps. And I just think, Seiko is reputable for its legendary reliability. And its divers are certainly one of the divers that people will often talk about for the many years to come. And Monster of all the lineups is one of the watches that truly stands out from its own, its own design. It's very bold. A lot of people is gonna hate it for its look, but I love it. I'm gonna put on the wrist just to show you guys why I'm loving it so much. So that's why I changed my mind, and it is so wearable. The yellow color, it just brightens up my day, especially in the summertime, right? Because down under in Australia, we're sort of getting to the winter now. I don't wear it that often, but in the summertime, this is a fantastic watch, guys. Really good, really wearable. If you guys are on the fence about getting, let me get a focus right here, guys. Sorry. If you guys are on the fence about getting a Monster, if you have a color that you love, go for it. Right, I've had two Monsters in my book. I had the one of the limited edition, the Super Blue, which now it's in a better home than myself. I absolutely love that watch. But for this one, it really does the trick for me. I love the yellow. I love that PVD coating. It gives you a sense of coolness, and the yellow, it just stands out from the crowd so much. I love it. I'm not gonna lose a whole lot of money if I sell it down the time, because I know that this is one of the Asia exclusive Monsters. I actually can't find the box for it, believe it or not. After taking the video and photos for the sell post, I can't find the box again. So maybe this is gonna be a part of my collection forever. But if I ever change my mind of selling one of those few watches, I'll be sure letting you guys know as well. Okay, so that's the yellow Monster. What's the model number for this? I don't even know. I think SRP K35. I could be wrong, but if you sort of just Googling, typing up yellow Seiko Monsters, I'm sure one of those will pop up for you. Now, next as a part of my fun watch pool, this is a cracker, guys. I'm just gonna lighten this up, get the loom works on a day loom. I think you will. This is the SBDC, a JDM version. So for anyone that is new to the world of Seikos, it is extremely confusing, guys. I tell you what, there are international versions. There are the same watch, but have a different model number because there are JDM version, Japanese domestic market sort of models, right? And then there are exclusive in terms of locations and geographics, and there are sort of Thailand specific made, not zombie, but Zingbi, those extremely hard, very desirable models. And this is the Asia exclusive, and this is a JDM. Okay, which means the only source of buying this particular watch is not on the international market as a whole. You got to buy it from a source in Japan, typically from one of the retailers there or one of the online sort of ADs that you can source from. So this watch was purchased on a secondary market, but I'm the second one. The first owner purchased this from Sakura Watches, somewhere that you're very familiar with, if you know watch of Seikos and a few of the other great brands. Now, you guys know my relationship with Sumo is great. I know the J Sumo is actually gone to a better home, but I decided to keep this Entrosize Sumo. And the reason for that is it's actually quite simple. I imagine myself living without Sumo, okay? And I'm asking myself the question, right? If I bought a Rolex Submariner, if I bought an Omega Speedmaster, and of course the Seamaster. And let's say I sold all the other watches, okay? And in a summertime, in a summer day where you finish the workout, you want to grab a qualified, reputable, legendary diver out on the field doing whatever you want, right? You want something bold, you want something that's colorful, standing out from the crowd. Then you're reaching out to your watch box, and then you find yourself, hang on a second, Felix, where's that anthracite gray Sumo with the crafted blue orange strap? That's right, it's gone, right? Now, then my question is, can I live with that situation? And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to live with that situation, right? That's why I kept this Sumo, because I think it speaks volumes. I'm just going to give you guys some close up on the shots of the watch. I think it's truly, let me wipe it clean. For anyone that is new to the Sumo, it's a bit underrated, because typically a Turtle, a Samurai, those traditional watches, that sort of Seiko, Turtle is inspired by the vintage model, but Sumo is relatively new. I think it started in about 2000. It stopped for a while, and then this is the third or fourth generation. You can name it how you want it, but essentially it kept the same design. There's a few tweaks in terms of the size of the fonts on the bezel, whether that's sapphire crystal, or the old gen like the J Sumo was hard as crystal. But the overall size didn't change at all. And I think that I love it a lot. I love it a lot because it tells us the Seiko's management team and design team knows that this Sumo works the best on its holistic platform. And it's great to see there's one of the color that we know that Seiko's doing really well for its all divers. That is the gray color. Okay, you're looking at the first gen of the 62 mass, and you ask yourself, what's the color on that 62 mass? That's anthracite, right? The anthracite Sumo, the Turtle sold extremely well, going a lot higher on the secondary market, and I think the same story will go in the long haul for this Sumo. They don't do another gray Sumo now. Maybe they do. I don't think they do. I love the orange hand. I love everything about it. It speaks to me. Okay, it speaks to me, especially when you pair up with these beautiful crafted blue straps. The orange matches, and when you have it on the wrist, which I'll put it up now for you guys, is a lot bigger, a lot more dominant than the Monster. Monster is a lot smaller. But I certainly enjoy this Sumo a lot. I think on any direction of lighting, you just give yourself, look at that, guys. So when you sort of driving, you look at your watches on this angle, look how deep, look how in depth that color sort of changes on different lighting condition. I just love it, guys. I just love it. If you guys are on the fence about buying this particular Sumo, don't hesitate. I don't know what else to say. Don't hesitate. This is actually still have the back stickers on. Get one of those I guess between, you can't buy them as a brand new. Perhaps you can between maybe, I don't know, 700, 800, 900. But, go for one of the secondary between 500 to 600. They don't pop up. I haven't checked on it for a while, but I believe there's a very limited amount of those watches that relatively flow in the market. So if you ever see one, grab it. SBDC 097. So those two watches are the fun, and we're going to conclude the funness of the 3-watch fun collection in Seiko's, within my collection, with the legendary SKX. Now, you guys might ask me the question, Felix, where is your Pepsi? Where's the 009? That's right, it's gone to a better home. And I thought about it. This 007 is actually still on sale. I haven't removed the post yet, but again, I think it's been a few weeks since that happened, so it's probably died down. But if people see it, I think they will try to grab it. You know what? I might just give all the accessories that comes with the watch, including the bracelet, all that kind of stuff, to anyone that interests them. But for now, no one's asking, so this stays in my collection. Look, guys. I talk a whole lot about monsters and what do you call that? The Sumo. I don't have to explain a whole lot for the SKX. It is a model that everybody knows. It is a platform that works for everybody's wrist. It is the design that works for Seiko because they chose the whole lineup of Seiko 5s living on this platform when they discontinued the SKX. So for a lot of hardcore Seiko fans, the SKX will earn a forever position, just like many other iconic Seikos in their watch box. For many of the watch collectors that are collecting much higher prices watches, that every time when they look back on their journey in the early days, they will want to see one of the SKXs in their watch box, because it is a conversation starters. Back in the days, I was selling for a lot cheaper. But you know what? I call this is the people's champ. Okay, this is the people's champ. This is a culture. You know, here's the thing, right? When you look at watches, they're watches that get produced and get sold and be in the marketplace for a few years. But if you look back, okay, in different categories and different price tier watches and sort of the country of origins, but there are watches that changed culture. All right, I'm gonna be just explain a couple of my thoughts on this, what I just said, right? There are many watches that sells far more than a Rolex sub, right? Die watches, and probably more capable. All right, I'm just using the sub as an example. But Rolex sub changed culture. Not saying that for the price here that they're asking, because there are a whole lot of watches that are asking for more than that. But Rolex sub changed culture, right? And on the contrary of the other spectrum, that is the most affordable segment, there are a whole lot of watches that sells a similar price back in the days, or a lot less than SKXs. And they are very capable too, right? Citizens and many other brands. But SKX was a specific models that changed culture. It started some, great collection for great collectors around the world, right? That's why there's so many aftermarket support just for the watches in terms of these parts, accessories, watches, bracelets, that kind of stuff, because they know these models will live forever. If you're looking at year 2020, people talk about SKXs. 2010, SKXs. 2020, 2030s will be SKX. 2050s, people will still talk about this watch. So just knowing that, this will be a forever conversation piece among watching Suzy, especially people that love the brand of Seikos. Okay, so no more introduction required. This is on Strap Habit, not Strap Habit, sorry. My friend Gavin's Strap X Pro. I put a whole lot of wear on it. The strap that he does is just incredible, guys. It just is solid as solid as tank. I put a whole lot of wear on this. It's just the strap that he does, crazy, so underrated. I can't explain further. So good. So this one matches the Divers 200 orange on the dial. I chose it because it matches, right? On the wrist, I don't have to explain how good it is on the wrist. Of course, give you guys different bit of visual interest on this particular strap. Guys, you can't go wrong, all right? Strap monsters on orange look good, on green it look good, on black, of course, on any other color it looks fantastic. SKX is a great watch and part of my collection for the long term. There you go, guys. I'm going to try to end the video in 20 minutes. I spoke a whole lot, and we're in 22 minutes 45 seconds in, and we're still not finishing. So whoever's watching the video till now, I thank you a lot. I don't know what else to say. All right, I thank you a lot. I hope you're getting some joy out of this, and when you're looking at your watch collection again, it will add another ounce of interest. All right, so I'm gonna move those on the part because I don't have a lot of space right now. We're gonna work with those four watches now. Okay, now we talk about fun watch. Okay, we talk about fun watches, and we gotta talk about not on the more serious note. We're gonna talk about other few watches that I chose on the bracelet. I call them, for me, they're more formal wear, right? When I see a customers, when I go to work, I don't strap these on, I put one of those on, right? It works for me. If you're wearing a brand Seiko and you're saying, Felix, what is wrong with you? You're not wearing one of Divers or a meeting, you're going nuts. That's okay. Kudos to you. Good work to you. They work for me. They do work for me. I was wearing a jacket, a formal jacket with the Marine Master yesterday, and it worked fine. It worked fine. I love it. Right? It works for me. Maybe one day that taste will change, but for now, it's certainly staying. Okay. Now we're gonna start from the top, the bottom top. No, my seat is top. Your bottom. Now, watches like this, I would seriously think about selling it because I found just sort of topic out of the topic, right? Because I found this watch, it was taking my wrist time. I can't take it off. I was actually thinking about selling Omegas and all that kind of stuff, right? But after wearing this watch yesterday, I changed my mind. I changed my mind again. It wears. Let me just get it clean. Sorry, guys, the whole lot of stuff on it. Because it wears so good. This the dial, the work, the how sharp the handset is sharper than the Omega. I'm telling you guys this. This is a magic watch. And of course, I don't have to explain a whole lot for any Seiko fans out there. You know, this is the king. This is the humble, just like another people's champ. Seiko's doing a whole lot of magic, trying to stir the interest for the Marine Master line again. You can tell, right? You can just imagine if yourself is doing a senior position in the company, right? And you sort of come to mind, hey, we know people loving Marine Masters, right? But what the hell we're gonna do with it? Right? People, not a whole lot of people buying SLAs. There are a few people, but not a whole lot. We need to, break into the market by printing the Marine Master dial again and get people buying Marine Masters again. I don't think that's working really well, though, right? I know Seiko's trying. By the way, none of my Seikos are currently producing. If you look at all my Seiko models, every single one is discontinued because. Am I saying the best days of Seiko are behind them? No, I'm not saying that. But for me, as my particular age and my experiences, it works for me. For all future generations, different stories, okay? But this works for me. So, Marine Master, SBDX, you have to, guys, I don't have to, let me get I don't want to see, here's the thing, right? When you see a great product, is that a scratch or is it just, when you see a great product that speaks, that you connect with, you don't want to speak too much. You try to get, is that a scratch or a dust? I don't even know. Maybe a scratch. Anyway, look at the dial, guys. This is like a jewel on the wrist, guys. Man, I don't want to speak a whole lot. Marine Master is the best, guys. It's truly amazing. Anyway, all the SLS are fantastic too, but I just happen to love this SBDX a bit more. Okay, so it's staying. I don't have to say a whole lot. You're staying, all right? You're not going anywhere. Now, I love it, guys. If you're on the fence about, again, it'll be very hard to get a SBDX 017 as a full setting, relatively mint condition. This has been on someone else's wrist and my wrist since 2018, so it's about 7-8 years on the wrist of human being. Of course, it's gonna have scratches and that kind of stuff, but that's what forms the story. Okay, I mean, again, back to what I'm saying. Watches like this, I'm not sure if Marine Master changed culture as the SKX did in the same sort of relative terms, but I think it's certainly changed some culture in some collections' eyes, and certainly changed for mine. Okay, so SBDX 017, that's one of the great watches. Okay, now, second, guys, this watch need to be talked about a bit more. This is the first, I'll just get some close shots on it for you guys to enjoy. This is the first generation of Seiko MM200. All right, so just bring the 200 and 300 into the picture. You can tell, right? You can tell why they named this 200. It wears a bit larger. I bought this watch as a brand new for my dad. I'm asking him to wear it. He chose to let it stop and put it in his drawer, and he gave it back to me. So I'm not selling it because it have that sentimental value. Do I love it just for that reason? No, because this watch wears beautifully on the wrist. It wears slightly larger. I don't like how the end link protrudes out a little bit here, but I like it. It works really well in a t-shirt. And of course, it's strap monster too. All right, you can put any kind of 20mm leather strap, and if you're a fan of leathers, and you can put anything on it. Short sports straps, NATO straps is fantastic. It's so legible, guys. This is one of the most legible watches that I have in my collection. A lot of you saying we don't like the hourly hands, but just there you go. You tell me which watches. You tell me they're both great, but which watch give you? If you work in the field, if you are, you work in the combat, I don't know. I'm just giving you an example. You need to tell time within split seconds when you glance in the air, right? You see that? You see that? This M200, hourly hands, just legible to a point that every time I look at this, I feel I'm looking at a wall clock. because I can tell time with split seconds. It's just so clear. The vision that it gives you on that Mac dial is a classic for sure. I don't want to talk about it too much. If you guys are on the fence of the MM200 first generation, don't listen to the naysayers. That it is too big, it is too expensive, da 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 da. Get it. The slimmer bezel than the current gen, all that kind of stuff, is more vintage vibe, more classic. I love it a lot. I love it a lot, guys. Guys, I really love it. Look at that sort of very vintage inspired loom. I just think it's fantastic, guys. It's truly, truly great watches. Okay, now the third Seiko that, on a more serious note, of course, is the watch that has been changing my time in lately time, because I put it on, I think, about a week ago. Okay, I tell you why I put it up, because I think I just had a shower, and I don't want to get my wet hands on one of the crowns, so that just time, because the rest of the watch is automatic. So I go, you know what, I'm gonna put this course on. And since that day, I haven't managed to take it off after a whole week. It look brand new, guys. It's if you guys are on the fence about getting a tuner, I'm not talking about solar tuner, they're great, right? They're great, right? I'm talking about anyone that is on a serious note. Want to pick up one of the SBBN tuner, right? And the master, Felix, should we spend $1,000 on a tuner, right? Should we spend $1,000 on a course? Should we spend $1,000 on a 5.5, 46 millimeter diameter watches and all that, right? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. If you can get this the SBBN 049, which is this, go for it, all right? I don't want to explain no more. This watch dominates on the wrist. It gives you the whole story of long-lasting ideas, because back in the days, the saturation diving community came to Seiko and explained the situation where the helium disc watch exploded after the diving sessions, and Seiko really started hard on that topic and came out with this particular design watch that really don't need a helium escape valve, 300 meters diver's capability, and with a long-lasting full metal quartz serviceable movements that still they're producing now for these watches. So here's the thing, right? We living in a world and a society that appreciate anything new than old, right? New objects, right? New clothing, new design, new brand, right? Anything old more than 12 months need to be dumped, okay? As large as a company as Seiko, think about in terms of a Porsche 911, okay? You can have the first generation of the designer's product on the shelf, and you ask a non sort of hobbyist, a child looking at the latest generation. You will take them no time to tell that they are related, and they're related intrinsically. Okay, the tuna is one of them. To imagine a company that's still producing the same engine for the car after 50 years since its debut is nuts. Anything engineering field is impossible because it will be outdated. Okay, no one will buy it. It won't have any practical value when it comes to the market. Not for tuna. Not for tuna, guys. Tuna is a miracle. If you guys are on the fence about tuna, like I said, these grade of tuna, I don't understand a whole lot about 600 meters or 1,000, but the 300, sorry, the hourly hand just literally stopping right there. But for 300 meters tuna, this is a must have. Okay, so think no more. Get one of the tunas, proper tunas in your collection. You'll be very pleased. Lastly, we're going to talk about this. Okay, this is the only non-Seiko in my collection right now. I was thinking about actually selling it because I want to get a different color. I thought white, a 2-watch collection of white, and hey, actually, this will be a great 2-watch collection. What do you guys think? This will be a great 2-watch diver collection. Actually, that's a great thing to have. Sorry, but Omega Seamaster is one of the most popular, one of the most celebrated, highly owned watches in the entry level, I guess, Swiss watch collection. It's this wire dial is amazing. Okay, this wire dial is truly amazing. It's very legible, not as legible as the MM200, but the skeletonized hands and the contrast between the black and white, it works. Okay, this is actually the first time, if you look it up, the Omega did a proper wide dial on its whole lineup of Seamasters Professional for many years, probably forever. There are a few different versions. I think one is the Beijing Olympic, that's a wide as well, I think, but for this is the proper production sort of wide, right, on that ceramic laser edged dial. Is good. This watch wears no problems, guys, wears no problems. The bezel, however, the bezel is terrible. All right, anyone that into the journey of buying a Seamaster, you have to know this. First of all, listen. There are tons of play, not tons of play, but a bit of play. You might question if this is a fake Omega. This is not. This is a genuine Omega. But this is not an issue, okay? This is not an issue. It's not, and here's the thing. I can't grip it properly because how it's designed with those edges. You thought it would be an easy grip, but not as comfortable as you can call the coin bezels, whatever the Seiko does. 60 clicks. And there's a bit of, this is no problem as well. Check it out, guys, all right? See that? See that spring? It bothers me a little bit in the beginning, but then I realized I thought something wrong with it. But then when I look up all the forums of people talking about the bezel, the Omega problem it has, everybody bezel like this. I saw some videos that having an even more springy bezel than mine, but mine's okay. It's a bit of flexibility. Maybe there's a reason for it engineering. I don't know. Okay, but it's great. It's great. This one is on a strap habit. Omega inspired, not Omega. Omega's one will cost you about 700. This one costs about, I think, about $100. But really good quality though, really good quality. And they're all sold out. A lot of Omega owners bought it. It wears good, guys. It wears really well. On a more formal, of course, I can strap it up with a different material. You know, the Socklaw's high-end Arden strap that they sent me. They're fantastic. They looks amazing on any Omegas. Okay, so Omega's great. It's a no-brainer, right? You gotta see. Here's the thing, right? After owning so many watches, the things that I love, I truly found it's true. There are watches you just have to have. You have to experience within your collection journey, and those watches are truly doing the work for me. Okay, so just to wrap it up, we have a few Seikos out there. More serious nerds. We have Omega in the middle. We have the 3 sports watches, the truly fun watches that Seiko makes. All right, that's it, guys. We're about 37 minutes into the video. If you guys still with me this far, I don't know what to say. I think you love watches just more than I do. You try to find the ounce of interest, talking point. You're trying to find that connection between man and the machine. All right, you're trying to transcend through time, is to have a connection with the designer behind those crafts. You're trying to find ideas and their thinking process and philosophies behind each of those watches and sort of what discussion points and that those designers in production the team that they had before those watches were manufactured. You trying to think things in a deeper level, and I think that's a great thing in today's world. Okay, it's great to have a hobby. Be disciplined about what you spend. And of course, of always buying watches from reputable brands, reputable men or sellers, and of course, qualified dealers. All right. I wish you the best of luck in the next coming, chapter within your watch collection. But what I have right now in the mid-2025 is something that truly satisfies my heart. All right. That's it, guys. I hope you have a great one no matter where you are, and have a great day. And surely I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.